Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. It's been interesting. Just got back from trick-or-treating, so that was fun. Although I doubt it was probably as cold as it was for you, Danny.
Why would it be cold?
I don't know. I saw where y'all got like 2 inches
Cheese
of
and
snow.
crackers. Yeah. We got about 4 here
Oh, shoot.
overnight. Yeah,
Okay.
it was pretty good. That's nothing. It was, man. That's stop.
You're like,
But
that's a dusting.
they originally said we're gonna there are little townships that are all neighborhoods. We're gonna start trick or treating at 5:30. That gives people time to get home, and hopefully there won't be too much traffic around the kids. Yada yada. And then some genius said, sunset is technically 5:50. Right.
Okay.
So you're giving the kids 20 minutes of light, and okay, that's not a big deal because you flashlights or glow
Sure.
sticks or whatever. Except when the sun goes down, the temperature goes down,
Yes,
and it was
does.
37 before I finally got my picked up my last kid, got home at like 5:15, and I'm like, okay, round up, get in your costumes, let's go. And man, it was cold. And then the sun went down, and I went, oh yeah, okay, we're going home. And my littles were like, but Dad, we only got like 2 streets done. And I'm like, okay, 1, you walk too slow. I told you we got to go fast. We got to get this stuff done. 2, it is literally freezing right now. It's 31 degrees. I think it's 30 now. So I think it was 31 when we got in. So we got to go. We can't do this.
Yeah, y'all are going to turn into Frosty the Snowman out trying to
Yeah.
get candy.
I said, I will go and buy a bag of candy and I will mix it up in a bowl, and you get a big old double handful of it, and you eat it whatever you want. Okay. Because we're going in. And the 10-year-old was like, oh yeah, I'm really cold too. And he had volleyball today and he was really tired anyway. 9-year-old was like, Dad, come on, just one more street. And I'm like, no. Okay.
Well, I poured me some bourbon to warm me up a little bit while we have this this combo.
I do have some bourbon here. I'm going to do the same thing. In fact.
Yeah, it was
definitely help.
It was a little bit chilly too, I will say. What was really funny was we walked up the street, hung a left, and headed to the next street. And on the way there, our local EMTs for one of our local firehouse, they were sitting up there just handing out candy to everybody. Like I said, like they usually roll around in fire truck. Well, they sent the EMT, a couple of EMTs up there just to hand out candy for about the first 40 minutes, which was really cool. And I'm standing there and I'm looking west as we're getting ready to walk down the street. And I go, we're about to get snow. And those EMTs looked at me like, what are you talking about? I was like, you see them clouds up there? I was like, we're going to get snow in about 10 minutes. Sure enough, in about 10 minutes, it looked like a snow globe in the neighborhood. And I took video of it because I was just like, this is crazy. And it was a beautiful sunset going on too. It was just this one flurry cloud that came through. It was a big cloud, but it was a light flurry cloud. So it wasn't one of them like big gray clouds.
Yeah.
It was one that was actually it's a really neat cloud. That's one of the things I love about working with my dad's friend who's the hot air balloon pilot. Like I learned so much about clouds working with him. And you just seen this thing coming. It was like, all right, we're about to get these crazy flurries. And it was like
coming.
Wind and snow and all that stuff. But at the same time, in the background, further back in the west, was just this beautiful like peach and cream and blue like a sunset going on at the same time. So it was really wild. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had a good time. We ended up with 16 pounds of candy. It's a lot.
Do the kids know that?
They do. Yeah, we were weighing it. It was fun. Oh no, there's a dad tax. I carried that dang thing for most of the trip, so trust me, they know that too. But no, you'll love this. So we went to Walmart yesterday to go find costumes last minute, and
Hmm.
my daughter found an owl costume that actually is Owlbear from Dungeons and Dragons,
Nice.
and
Nice.
she was really excited about the owl costume. And then my
Yeah.
son went as a ninja, and then I wore the shark costume that I've had since Orlando from
Uh-huh.
Baby Shark. Only I've usually gone as Daddy Shark. However, kids caused Daddy Shark to go to the casino, and then so Daddy Shark became a card shark. Uh, and uh,
Oh, wow.
and I walked around handing out packs of booster packs of Pokemon cards to kids
Mm.
since Corey's on the mend and can't, wasn't going to stand out there. So
Dealing like that. You should not be dealing like that. That
it
stuff's addictive, man.
it was awesome. So like I was walking around and people are like, "Who are you? Are you Daddy Shark?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a card shark." And I would hand
Mhm.
them like a Pokemon pack, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" But the best part was when I would give them to some of the adults that were handing out candy, and these are like people that are in their like mid 30s or so, and I would be like,
Yeah.
"I'm a card shark," and I'd hand them a thing, and they were like, "Are these real Pokemon cards?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!"
Right?
They had
Yeah.
no idea that like people like that there's actually these packs that you can buy at like Aldi and
Mhm.
Costco and stuff. And I had gone to Aldi and I had bought a couple of packs about a month ago when they hit the shelves, and I think they were like $15 a piece for like 50 booster packs, and I was like, that's actually a really good deal. And then I
Yeah.
went to Costco this weekend and they had 120 in a pack for $10. And
There
there
you
were
go.
tons, and I was like, this is awesome. So I bought one of
Yeah.
those and I just walked around handing them out there, but I'd never even I still have plenty for next year.
Well, I was looking at the picture you posted of the ninja and the owlbear and the car shark.
Yes.
So well done.
Oh
Well
yeah.
done. I did not get any pictures, unfortunately. That's that is what it is. But I went as Mr. Incredible again because I didn't want to go. And I'm like, well, I'm just putting on this costume then, and I'm gonna do it. It was the first time I think in a long time I was just like, I don't want to get dressed up. I don't want to do anything tonight. I was really just tired and cold outside, and I like being out there.
Yeah.
Like I've got my window open right now. I enjoy
Mm.
it. I really like the
I,
cold, but
yeah.
I don't know. Tonight I was just not into it.
I saw in the Dad Lounge Discord that Chris Weezer posted a picture of him dressed as I think he's supposed to be Bluey is what it is.
Mhm.
Or maybe he's Bandit actually, because his son and his daughter
Oh
have
yeah, probably. Yeah.
Bluey in the other one. But I just thought that was really cool that he dressed up like that. And then I see where Matt Strain just posted his kids were Queen Amidala, which that that outfit is amazing. It looks almost like it's homemade, especially the hairdo, but it looks great. And then of course Pikachu is the other is his boy, so that was really cool. But yeah, I posted my picture in the last episode's comments. I had to repost it up there so that I could put the pictures of the kids so that everybody could see it. So hopefully other people do that too, because I really want to see what
Yeah.
everybody came up with for their costume ideas.
Well, I put up the one that my kids wanted. And it is I said, are you sure this is what you want? They're like, yeah, it's the party poopers from the back room party.
I have no
And I
idea
don't
what that is.
know, right?
I don't
And
know
I'm
what
like,
that is.
should I look this up? Are you supposed to be watching this? But all it is, and I couldn't say no because all it is literally is a black hoodie
Uh-huh.
and a mask that looks like a plate. So it's kind of like a blue plate with black
Okay.
marker eyes and a mouth. And it's nothing. It was the easiest costume I've ever made
I feel old
because
now.
they both needed a hoodie, right? I'm like, well, yeah, you can't. I will absolutely get you a new hoodie. That'll work because you need a new hoodie, both of them. and we actually got some masks from I think it might have been Walmart, but it was a clearance thing somewhere, and they're just plain little
Okay.
face formed kind of happy face mask and spray painted them blue or bluish.
There you
and
go.
the kids are like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. Oh my God, I love this. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but
Hey,
go.
whatever makes
fun.
you happy. Yeah, exactly.
And they said other kids knew. Like, the other kids know what you win it. Well, yeah, and I'm like, how? I've never even heard of the back room party poopers, whatever they could is. It was crazy.
You could tell who the Dungeons and Dragons gamers were when we were out, because everybody would ask Ruby, like, what are you? And she's like, I'm an owl bear from Dungeons and Dragons. And like, people were like, oh, cool. And then there were like a couple people who were like, oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is an owl bear. Good job.
Like, one guy even named like I don't know what the name of the owl bear is, like its actual proper name, because it seemed like it had
it was a character that became an owl bear, like transformed herself.
Maybe that's what it was. He mentioned
she's a druid.
He mentioned like their name or something like that.
Jock.
Sorry. I can't help it. Yeah.
But yeah, but he knew the name. I don't remember the name.
He knew the name. Yeah.
I don't remember his name. So.
He straight up said the name, and I was just like, all right, this guy gets it. Like, she was ecstatic though. She was like, oh my gosh, he knew my character. And I was like, yeah. And then another guy was like, I've known the owl bear and Dungeons and Dragons since 1986. And I was like, yeah, you go, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Wave that nerd flag hard. Yeah.
That's right. Fly it high.
Fly it high and proud.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was pretty cool. She was riding high with those two comments. She's like, only 2 houses. I was like, hey, that's pretty good, honestly, for your character.
Yeah, you're picking up. Yeah, that's a lot more than it would have been.
Yeah.
And my oldest went as basically a werewolf.
Okay.
Basically. He said, Dad, I need to borrow your red flannel shirt.
Okay.
Button-up shirt. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So the classic werewolf.
That's exactly, because I want to be kind of a classic werewolf. And I went, oh my God, you're right.
That's exactly what that is. Yeah.
Yeah. But my son is also a furry. So yeah. But his fursona is not a wolf, so I don't know what. But somebody had some of his like costuming from one and the other and whatever. I'm like, okay, buddy, that's cool. That's cool. But you'd love it because mascots,
I love mascots. That's why I go as the shark, man, because it works.
Yeah. So my 14-year-old, he said, Dad, I want to get a costume, but I have, it's not a costume. I'm building my own. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. What are you doing? And he said, I'm going to be a newspaper delivery boy.
Ow. And I went, I feel like, really, what, like a newsie?
Like, that's what I said. And he goes, no, he's like, I don't know what that is, but like somebody that drives around on a bike and delivers papers.
Oh, like paper boy.
Yeah. And I went, okay. Yeah. Okay. So just, paper. Okay. Why? And he said, Dad, and he said this, I swear to you, he goes, I've calculated the distance between houses and the time it takes me to walk it, and the amount of candy I can carry in the standard bag. And if I ride my bike and only take 10 seconds to get to the house, get the candy, get back on the street, I can get this neighborhood done and at least half of the next neighborhood before you guys are finished with this one.
Wow.
And I went, wait, what do you, he goes, I rode the neighborhood already. And I stopped for 10 seconds at each house. And I'm like, wait a minute, you drove around our neighborhood and just stopped at somebody's house for 10 seconds. And he said, yeah, every house. And I'm like, every house in the neighborhood.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody case a neighborhood before Halloween. That is amazing.
How very weird to see who's that on the, what's he doing? I don't know. Maybe he's lost. He just
at least not to do something sinister. Like,
right. Yeah. Like I'm egging this house and the toilet paper that
house. Yeah, exactly.
And
that pumpkin's getting knocked off of that high spot.
we went to Goodwill and he got the little Newsies cap and
oh my gosh,
it was really just pants, a shirt, and a jacket. So that wasn't a big deal.
So in other words, he went as me when I was his age, is what it sounds like.
Right, when it was a real job.
Yeah.
And like nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
So he got a canvas bag and we took paper towel rolls. Right.
Oh my gosh.
And we wrote up kind of a newspaper and then glued it on to the newspaper rolls and stuck them into the thing. So it looked like he had, 5 or 6 of them with him.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, and he goes, and see, look at this. And he opens it up and goes, look at all the room for candy, Dad. And I am not kidding.
He's not wrong. I mean,
he cleaned up. I mean, that bag was at least 3/4 full. And he came down before we got on the call, and he goes, "Hey, Dad, can I take some Tums? Will that be okay?" Like, whoa, 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 what are we doing? He goes, "Yeah, I don't feel good." I'm like, "Okay, what have you eaten?" He goes, "Well, I mean,
what haven't you eaten?
I had some veggie chips." I'm like, "What veggie chips? Where'd you get those?" And he goes, "Somebody was giving out veggie chips, like sour cream and onion veggie chips or something." I'm like, "Okay, gross. Yeah, that would make my stomach a little upset." He goes, "Well, that was the healthy thing I ate." I'm like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean?" And I went in his room, and there was like this little, it was like a pile of bones outside of a bear's cave or something. I don't know. And it was just candy wrappers. And it had to be 30 wrappers at least.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, buddy. Oh, this was a bad idea. And he's like, I know, but I couldn't stop eating them. And I'm like, you're gonna regret this.
I've never laughed so hard during a podcast. I'm dying over here. My stomach hurts just from laughter.
Right? I'm just like veggie chips and then like Kit Kats. I'm like, oh God, oh God,
yeah.
How did you eat those together? You know? Yeah. And
you hear sounds from the caverns of the bathroom later tonight.
Right,
you know not where to go.
I am not getting up. I hate that for you, buddy.
Yeah,
really hate that for you.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, he cleaned up. I mean, he really.
I got to applaud him for his ability to plan it out. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and I'm like, that is amazing. Just because, I mean, he is 14, so it's enough for him to goal set, you know, and just all of the like professionalism that he put into getting candy. I'm like, well done, buddy, well done. And I'll get you some Pepto because
just take the bottle.
Stay in your room. I don't need to talk to you.
Yep, just leave it on your nightstand and just sip on it all night long, brother. That's oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I applaud him for that. I feel a little hurt, but at the same time seen as the paper boy. But that in itself is pretty wild. Has he played the game, by the way? Like,
no. Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Okay.
But he also he said, no one knew what I was at school. And I'm like, yeah, buddy.
Of course not.
Nobody does that. Nobody rides around on a bike delivering papers that I know of, especially not here. We're mostly rural. What are you going to do? I'm going to bike 5 miles and drop a paper bike. I said, nobody even reads the paper.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, our local paper is almost out of business. I said, we get all of our news on the internet. We don't need this. So got the gossip column over on Facebook. You know, we got the comics over on Twitter.
I used to, when I was 14, I remember I had a paper route. You know, I'd get home from school. I would fold everything up. I would jump on the bike and ride around and do that. And then I'd do my homework. And then like Sunday mornings, got up at like 4:00 in the morning to basically roll papers. God, if it was raining or snowing, that sucked even worse, because not only were you rolling them and wrapping them with a rubber band, you were also sliding them into a plastic sleeve. And, you know, and some people, they didn't care if it got thrown on the porch. Other people, they wanted it like dropped inside of their, like
right there,
their storm door, that kind of thing, or put in their mailbox and stuff. And so, it was like, I would do all that before going to church, you know, with my family and stuff. And then you had to go around and collect the money like every week from people on Friday, and
$2,
something like that. And you get,
Better Off Dead.
You get tips and all that kind of stuff.
John Cusack, Better Off Dead, $2. No, nothing. Okay.
I don't think I saw that actually.
2 weeks. No, 4 weeks, 20 papers. $2. And so it's the paper guy, but he's got his own racket, right? And John Cusack says, yeah, sorry, John, I don't have any money right now, and slams the door on him. And the kid follows him all through the movie. And he's at the end of the movie skiing down the mountain to win the love of his life, basically, or the one he thinks the love of his life. And the kid shows up on his bike on skis, you know, and he's like, $2. And John Cusack's like, what are you doing here? You know,
that's hilarious.
So yeah, $2. And for all of my fellow nerds that get that, I love you. I feel seen. I know you're seen too. It's okay that Brock forgets that movie. It was a dumb movie.
It's all good. I probably have seen it. If it's John Cusack, I've seen quite a few of his movies. So
he's one of my favorite actors.
Definitely, he's a good one.
Grosse Point Blank.
Yes.
Oh, So good. Anyway,
high fidelity.
yes.
Yes, that's a really good one. So another thing that I saw Halloween related was our buddy Matt Lofi. He posted, he's sitting there on his porch in between handing out candy, and he goes, I find it interesting that we are grown up with the knowledge from our parents to not take candy from strangers, except on Halloween when it's okay to walk up to a complete stranger's house and take candy from them. And I said, we also were taught not to get into a stranger's car, but now we pay people to come and pick us up and get into a stranger's car to take us somewhere. So
contact strangers on the internet, ask them to come get us.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting how this world evolves in different ways over the years. But yeah, I definitely, there's all those little nuances of things that make life interesting. On one hand, you're telling your kids this, and on the other hand, you go and do this. So
bingo.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, so I don't want to ask, do you know what Matt Lofi was dressed as? Did you see the picture?
Was he a Browns
fan?
His
kid is Spider-Man. Yeah, I don't know. He's wearing it looks like a onesie, like a one-piece gray thing with some
let me look here
yellow
again.
Vertical words going down it, and a black and yellow scarf, which is awesome, and a hat. And then
you know what? If he's in a black and yellow scarf, he's in a crew. He's wearing a crew outfit, is what that is.
It might say crew on the front of it. It's only see half of it because his scarf and kid are in the way. But yeah, but he's got that that typical Matt Lofi smile.
That's what it is. So the shirt says crew down the middle is what it is. Right. It's and he's wearing a Columbus Crew scarf. So and then he's got a Dad Ass Podcast branded sock cap is what he's got on. And he's drinking
the cap. Okay.
Yeah, and then he's drinking out of a Dad Ass Podcast thermos as well. So
they have their own caps and thermos. Man, what are we doing?
Well, here's
like stickers.
Well, that's because
where's our merch, bro?
They have well, that's because Sean's brother is like he does that stuff. Like, so they just have him make all their things.
I'm gonna make stuff. That's one of the things I'm gonna start doing. Now it's not gonna be right now because this stuff's expensive. But I was looking at it, I'm like, every year for the convention, we need bags, right? We get a swag bag. And I'm like, well, that's no big deal. We just get a swag bag, right? And no, we have to go through channels. We have to see if somebody can donate them to us, go to the
oh yeah, I saw you were talking
St. Louis
about that.
Visital Center. And I'm like, well, can't we just make them? I mean, it's a canvas bag. Can we just screen print them? And
we can
do it with a Cricut and a heat press. There's got to be a way we can do this in-house, and I honestly would love, I want a laser engraver. Oh, I want a CNC machine. I want all the things. Just, I don't know that I'm going to get these things ever in my life, but that, like the mug that he's got, it's just a stainless steel with a black wrap on it, and they cut out the wrap basically. So you're not cutting the stainless steel. It looks amazing. I'd love to be able to make stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, there's things to work on.
Yeah.
Goals. We haven't won a #1 podcast award from a city yet, like he has. So I mean, I guess that's the other part of it.
That's probably it. He's got his finger in a couple of pies there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he's he's doing his thing.
But his face is always the same. He's got this smile and these eyes, and I'm like, you look very happy, or maybe a little crazy. Yeah, maybe a little crazy.
Hey, I'll tell you. Crazy. Aside from you, he's my other favorite podcast person to hang out with.
He's so bright-eyed. That's why he hangs out with Sean, man, because Sean is his like mental health stability. I think that's what it is.
Something like that.
I'm talking bad about him because he ain't gonna listen to this.
Probably
not,
Matt. Who knows?
That guy. No, he is actually one of my. Actually, Sean Diddy, his partner in crime, as it were, is probably one of my favorite people in podcasting. And in the not even just playing pot, but in like that,
I know what you're talking about,
arena of whatever we are. He's so kind and so loving.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's just I love being around both of them. But I think Sean. Sorry, Matt. I'm not sorry, Matt. You know better. Sean's amazing. It's fine.
Well, when this comes out, I think it's the week after, maybe. so right before Veterans Day on the 8th, I think it is,
Mhm.
in Columbus, they're actually doing a Movember event,
Yeah.
which is really cool, at the Leisure Lounge there in Columbus. And they're basically doing like this really cool TED Talk, and it's all mental health related.
Mhm.
So it's going to be really neat. I'm hoping that Corey's feeling good enough for me to be able to go up to it, because
Neat.
I think it would be just a really neat. Yeah, he's got,
Mhm.
well, Nick Decker, by the way, too. Nick is a foodie influencer out of Columbus. He's actually been I met him at Dad 2.0 a few years back. Super nice guy.
Mhm.
He's the guy that if you're ever looking for like a really good place to eat, his account's the one to check out.
All right.
So he's presenting, Sean's presenting, they've got a guy, Parker Houston,
Mhm.
presenting, Daryl O'Neill, he's presenting on, so the first thing, Nick's presenting on social health, Sean and Parker are presenting on mindfulness and then mental health. Daryl O'Neill is presenting on the cost of fatherhood, and then they have Mike Scherter, I think is how you say his name,
Sure,
on
I think.
surviving testicular cancer. So, which, that's also something that Sean probably could have spoke on as well. But I think giving him the mindfulness is also a good spot as well. So anyway, like, yeah, November 9th actually is when that event's going on. And
Mhm.
so
Is
if
it the
anybody's,
9th?
it says November
Okay,
9th.
yeah.
Yeah, Thursday, November
9th.
9th from 7 to 9 at the Leisure Club, actually, not Leisure
Mhm.
Lounge, Leisure Club. Neat space, honestly. I'm excited. Like I said, I really want to go to it. So,
Have a
but if
cold
anybody,
garage beer.
yes, yeah, that's right. Garage Beer is a big sponsor for them. But yeah, if anybody's in that vicinity and can make it to that, definitely check that out, because I think that's the thing. Those kind of events during the month of November are so cool and important to do, because it gives guys the chance to come and hear talks on things that maybe they otherwise wouldn't hear. And especially in November, with it being mental health awareness, to be able to have a safe space to have conversations is so important. And that's the thing that I love about the Movember movement. And that's why, in some way, shape, or form, I'm usually trying to get involved in it in some kind of
Mhm.
capacity. Um, in the past, I know the board we've done some different things to try to just like team up with other dads and do some stuff. I don't know exactly if anything like that's really going on this year or not, or whatever, but is it, I guess, do you have any light to shed on that at all?
I don't think we're doing anything for Movember
Okay.
this year. I was looking at it. I wanted to try to personally get stuff together for it. And things just got too busy. And honestly, it came down to, for my own personal mental health,
Yep.
that I don't do anything this month. There's just, I don't have, I keep using this word because it's a business word now, and I hate it and love it at the same time. I don't have the bandwidth to get anything else done for
Yeah.
this month. I've just got too much going on. But the other side of it is something that a lot of people with more physical disabilities would say, I don't have the spoons, and so it's both of those things for me. I don't
Sure.
have the ability, and honestly, I really don't have my poop in a group enough to handle talking about my own mental health in the way that I feel it would need to be talked about to really promote Movember.
Sure.
I could
I know
maybe
in the,
do it
I know
once, but I can't do a whole month of it.
I know in the past, though, you and I both have taken time to actually like
Mhm.
post throughout the month of November, just sort of like either updates on what's going on with us, or just something that,
Mhm.
strikes us as needing to know. And I think that's something that anybody can do. Like, you don't have to actually be connected to Movember in any kind of way, but I think if you feel comfortable and in yourself to be able to, and confident to share something like that, like, you're willing to be vulnerable about it, like, it's
Mhm.
really important. It also can be very freeing to be able to just put that out there. And
Mhm.
maybe it's not to the whole world, maybe it's just to like your group of people that, on Facebook or whatever, that are, going to be able to see it. But I think things like that just really help to take that, maybe that burden that's, sitting on your chest or whatever, just be like, just gonna put this out here, get it out of my head, and let people
absolutely
peek behind the curtain a little bit. And I think that's really important for people to understand is a good thing, good exercise.
Just talking is so therapeutic. It's so helpful just to say the things that are really bugging you so many times, especially, the strong silent type. No, that's the guy that dies of like heart failure at 47. You cannot do that. You've got to let that stuff out of all kinds. And honestly, a big part of what I was looking at that I'm probably going to do for next year is also working on, which Movember originally came about because of testicular cancer and prostate cancer, and the men that we were losing to these cancers simply because we wouldn't got a fly in here, sorry, we wouldn't think about it or do anything about it or look at it. I was like, no, I'm fine. I don't want to, I don't want to have anybody to even look at that area of my body. I don't want to do anything to it. Okay, that's not healthy. Just period. Right. You need to be able to say testicles without laughing, and you need to be able to go to your doctor and say, hey, doc, is it time for this or this? Do I need a prostate exam? Do I need, a colonoscopy? What do I need? What's going on with my body? And be comfortable enough with yourself that you can say these things, at least to your doctor. I mean, if you can't go on a podcast and say it, that's fine. I get that. But at least to go to your doctor and say, hey, doctor, what do I need to do with my boys? What's going on? Do I need to examine them? Do I need to, what do I, what's the situation? And then understanding what it feels like, both normally, and then if something's gone wrong or gone different, or something's developing, to be, oh yeah, that doesn't feel right. And Sean Diddy actually uses this when he's talking about his fight with testicular cancer, where he says, I felt something odd and I just ignored it.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing that I've heard from a lot of people that are survivors. Like, yeah, I just kind of thought, yeah, I should have that. No, I'm not going to. I'll come back to that. And you can't do that. You just need to go say, okay, doc, this is what's going on. And going to your doctor with something like that is incredibly embarrassing. I had an infection, and it's a very common infection from what my doctor was telling me, but we did it over the phone because I'm like, we were during COVID, and I'm like, I got something going on and it is very painful. And I want to make sure I don't have any issues with cancer or something else going on. And so I described it to him, and it's specifically a virus that men get sometimes right at one specific spot. He's like, yeah, that's all it is. I'll get you a prescription, and it'll be done. You'll be done in 3 to 5 days. You'll feel a lot better. But just talking to your doctor, I mean, your doctor doesn't care. Your doctor's not there for, he's not going to enjoy it, but he doesn't care about it.
He's not judging you for it. He just wants to be able to help you.
Yeah. Well, be healthy.
It's not just men, like the women too. Like I have a family member who recently, like, they twisted their ankle, and it was something that they had pain for like 2-3 weeks or whatever, and just ignored it. Like, they were doing stuff, but they were just ignored it. And this person's in the medical field, and I'm not naming who it is, but I'm just saying,
come on. It's like a mechanic never works on his car.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Well,
it's like, they're the worst.
So
they're a bad example.
So they let it go. And then all of a sudden, like, they're in some like severe pain. They go to the ER and find out that they got a blood clot in their leg.
Oof.
And it turns into this major situation. And it's like, you ignored it. And it's like, I get it. You sprained your ankle. I totally understand that. But it should not take you like 3 weeks for you to be feeling better or whatever. Like that, even after a week, if you're hobbling around at the same, if not worse, like, that's a good indication that you need to go get your shit checked out. Like, something like that. And then,
especially when you work there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on. That's just like, hey guys, I gotta go to lunch and have my foot looked at.
Oh yeah, well, that's the thing. This person became a patient in their own workspace. Like, that's the wild part too. So that's a whole nother portion of the story. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that. And then too, I've talked about how we do every other week we're doing Dad's Night Out, and usually it's been recently just at somebody's backyard. So it's either been in my backyard, or it's been in David McMillan's backyard, and we've kind of been going back and forth. And recently we did it last week we met in my backyard, and there was only like 4 of us there, and we were chatting it up and having a good time. And a couple of the guys left, and it just ended, actually like 5 of us, but in the end it just ended up being me and 2 other guys. And the one guy was like, all right, like, we've gotten through just joking and talking about this stuff. He's like, I need to talk to you guys about something serious. And we're like, all right, cool, man. Like, this is a safe space. And he's like, I basically went through the summer suicidal, and just talked and like opened up to us about like what he was going through. And I was like, man, like, I'm glad you didn't harm yourself. I'm glad that you were getting some help for it, but I'm even more glad that you felt comfortable enough to open up to us around this fire and chat with us about what's going on, and just to share it and talk. And that's probably the thing that I love most about these dads groups is that you get guys who, they may have never thought that that was something they would ever be able to do with a group of guys. And then like, they feel comfortable enough to be like, let me just share with you like this super soft spot in my life that I need to get out. And yeah, that
awesome.
was, yeah, exactly. And so we had a great conversation, and it was, I think that he understood that he doesn't have to hold back, sharing that stuff,
Good.
even if it's just to like personal message somebody and just say, hey, like, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at.
Fine.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Text is always fine.
But yeah, I mean, he was even just talking about the fact, he's like, yeah, like, I like to, there's this hobby that I really enjoy, and I tried to enjoy it with some other guys who also do this hobby. And unfortunately, like, I just wasn't clicking and fitting in, and it really just like grinded on me mentally, because of the fact that like I wasn't fitting in with them. And I'm like, that sucks. Like, to me, I was like, I know exactly how you feel, because for me, I felt the same way, because it had to do with trying to fit in with people who ride motorcycles. And I don't fit the motif of most people that ride a motorcycle. I'm not, that persona of, especially guys who are like Harley Davidson guys, like, I'm not on that level. Just, I'm not. But I love the brand. I love the bikes, all that stuff. But there's no way in hell I'm ever gonna be at that level where I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I'm in, I'm a Harley Davidson rider. Like, I tell people like, I own a Harley, and I tell them what it is, and they just look at me like, is that really a Harley? Is that a toy? Oh, you have a toy bike. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's its own thing. So yeah.
It is. But anyway, I can joke about it in that fashion with myself on that. But yeah, it's so important to just be able to have those people, though, that you feel comfortable being able to talk about hard times that are going on. And I love the fact that we're in a society where that's becoming more and more the norm. But then, just to kind of pull this sort of page out, I hear on the news today about the gentleman up in Maine who unfortunately was the instigator of that mass shooting up there. And come to find out that his family 5 months ago had started like trying to let the authorities know that they were concerned with him, and nobody did a damn thing about it. And then voila, look what happens. And it's like, this whole idea of when people come to authorities and say, hey, like, I'm concerned about my family member or a friend or something like that, and they don't take responsibility for it, like, that is a huge issue that this really needs to be dealt with in this country.
Well, and to your point, our police force is a paramilitary organization set to be to not protect and serve necessarily, but to enforce law.
Right.
And you don't have the training. You
don't
have you're finding, and with all due respect, sincerely, for our vets and our soldiers, this is not the job that you should have. You know what? I'm not saying that's not a right way to put it. Going from the military to the civilian life is, from what I understand,
It's tough.
huge just bucket of cold water in the face, and you just don't understand people anymore.
Yeah.
And you look at what people do and you think, well, I worked so hard for so long to give you your freedom, and this is what you're going to do with it.
Yep.
And that bitterness that comes with it, and a lot of times the narcissism that comes with it, that a lot of people that get out of the military or get kicked out of the military end up in the police force, and they're allowed to be a narcissist at that point. They're allowed to be whatever. They're a badge and a gun, right? And what you need is somebody that's going to look at somebody and go, okay, hang on, I'm not looking to see if you're breaking any laws. I'm not looking to see if I can, if there's any trouble you're in that I need to, take care of with a ticket or a warning or jail time or whatever, arrest. But okay, your friends are concerned about you, and I need to know what's going on, and we need to talk about it. And the police force, one, is not equipped to do that.
No.
Is two, not trained to do that.
Well, I think too, you can't have a uniformed officer show up and talk to somebody who is in a state of instability and think that something good is going to come from that. Like, you're immediately going to be put on guard about it, especially if you're ex-military who is in that unstable mental space, and having somebody in uniform come up to you, like the PTSD is going to come flooding in. And I really feel, my thing is like, I agree with you on this. Like, I think that there's a lack of training. Some way they don't have the time, actually, I feel like, to even like get the training. But at the same time too, if you're gonna be a police department that is going to respond to these situations, you gotta send a plain clothed police officer, like, because that way at least it's just a guy on the street that's talking. They can be armed, but at the same time, like, it doesn't have to be like out in the open, but to be able to give that opportunity for them to, keep themselves secure and also try to work with the situation, I think are two things that aren't being done in the process. But also too, on top of that, there is a point at where I think that if law enforcement hears like, hey, like, so and so came to us, this is what they're dealing with, like, can we get a check? Can you send some people to just go check on them, type of deal? And
wellness check.
A wellness check, exactly. And maybe the officers are, maybe they drive up in a plain car and like let the people get out, and they're there but they don't get out, kind of type of deal, and like let the situation sort of play out and see what happens. I feel like that's gonna have a much better result than an immediate like sign of force or of what's the word, lawfulness, I don't even know exactly. Authority, that's what, exactly. Authority, because immediately, like, you're a cat with your hair is just immediately up on your back.
If the police came to my house, and I have not done, as far as I know, anything illegal, I haven't done anything, I would get my hackles up. I would be like, oh, what's going on? What, and I have a different understanding of police officers because my wife was one for 14 years, and I have a different way that I would treat police officers than most. Like, I won't let them in my house. I've seen officers that they'll come to the door and they'll be like, hey, and they'll just push the door. Like, I had a guy go off to get his ID and come back up, and the officer just pushes the door because I'm going in, okay, or I'm coming in, okay. And
no,
right, but the person said, oh yeah, okay, because basically you have to give them permission, and he gave himself permission but said it with a question mark, and so the guy let him in, whatever. And that was fine in that situation because of what it was, and the details of it don't need to be discussed, but it was understandable why he needed to see inside this guy's apartment. Things were going, and it actually worked out very beneficially for everyone, including the guy. But that's the thing that you do naturally. If a cop came to my door, I would be, okay, what the heck's going on? And I would step out and close my door and go, okay, what's going on, officers? And anytime a police officer wants to talk to me, which this has never happened, so I'll just say, I don't know if this would be what I do or not, but Marnie always tells me, well, yeah, don't talk to a police officer without a lawyer. Just get a lawyer, because you don't know what you're saying, and you can be, I don't want to say manipulated, but you can say things you didn't mean and get in trouble, whereas a lawyer go, no, you don't have to answer that, or you don't have to say that. Right. But
Yeah.
that's from, a little bit of really anecdotal experience technically, but the idea of a police officer showing up at my door, I'm going to get, I'm not going to get mad or upset or paranoid, but I go, whoa, what's going on? Right. And talking with or reading the articles about this guy, the main shooter, he had considerable mental health issues.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, I haven't read all of it, but I know he had, as one of the signs, that he'd been committed for hearing voices and thinking he was going to shoot up a military base. And this was weeks before, like you said. And I don't want to know that, don't say that necessarily that the sheriff's office dismissed it or ignored it, because I don't know the details on it. So, I'd have to.
Right. I'm not saying that.
But the reality of it is they're not trained to respond to mental health issues. They're not trained to respond to homelessness.
Right. They're
not trained for anything other than, this is the law.
Yeah.
Did you break the law? Okay, you're going to jail. And that's it.
Or I need to respond to the fact that you did something that was against the law.
Right. And they get training. They do get training. Like domestic violence is a huge thing. And there's so many things the officers get, but you're really dealing with an entire system that's set up to put people in jail and not take care of them.
Right.
Because that's honestly, because that's a moneymaker. We make a lot of money off of prisons. And that's, just the way our system is set up. But that's a huge topic that I don't think we should try to get into.
No, I didn't want to get into that. I just, it just sort of kind of bent into a little bit of what we were talking about. So I definitely don't want to open that entire can of worms.
We already did. Probably edit all that out. Just dump it.
No.
Dump the last 15 minutes. That's
oh my gosh, that's horrible. No, don't do that. But so to kind of, I guess, wrap this up with this conversation so much, I'll just say this: like, if you are feeling inspired by the conversation of wanting to do something with mental health, I really want to encourage you to either, like I said, like put something out message wise, or reach out to somebody and just have a conversation, or two, like, if it's something where you're like monetarily, like I want to do something, like, Movember is a great organization to actually give money to for what they do. And they do a lot of great stuff. And they also have a lot of really good resources. They've, in years past, they've had some amazing things that they've handed to us to be able to send out. All of it's been free. So if you go to their website, which I'll put in the description, you definitely find a lot of good information. So so hopefully that is helpful for anybody that's listening.
Can I plug my website?
Oh yeah, that's right. What is
I'm asking permission. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, dude, do it, man. Yes.
Well, it's dadsgottatalk.org.
Yes.
And it's simply a redirect. You can get the information, join us on our Discord. The website itself is unprofessionally made. It doesn't look too bad, but it's basically just a contact point. So a place where you can go and just get information about what we're doing, but it's really for mental health support, not mental health professionals. I want to say that a support group and a support network don't mean only mental health. A lot of what we do in this job is incredibly frustrating and isolating, and we get burned out. All of those things fall into an area where talking with someone else helps you. And we've said this in the past, even if it's just one person, it will help you move forward. And if you can get with several people or a group of people and build that community with them, like in your backyard, or if it's online, wherever it is, finding that place where you can talk about it and know that other people understand. Like if you and I started talking about potty training, man, I don't even think we'd even be able to say anything, because we both know, we would just be like, I know, right? Yeah. And then when the thing with, I'm right. And then because we have been so intimately familiar, unfortunately, with children's poop, that we wouldn't even have to really talk about it. But going to a new dad or a new parent who hasn't had that community, and is getting burnt out from this job, finding someone that can support you, a mentor in a men's group, right? We say that all the time. And I think that's really where people should start focusing their most basic efforts, because that's the way to go to whatever step you might. Maybe you need therapy. Maybe you need a professional. Maybe you need medication. Or maybe you just need to be able to go somewhere and scream into the void and have someone beside you go, I know, right?
Yep. Well, and you were talking about like new dads, and I find it interesting a lot of times when you come up beside a new dad and you're like, you ask them like, how's it going? Trying to get some, just trying to like build up some sort of rapport with them or whatever. And then, for me, like, I'm always like, hey, like, I run this dad's group. That's something that you'd be interested in. Oh no, I'm good, man. And I'm like, all right, like, I get it. You're trying to figure this out on your own.
Right.
I completely understand that. I think that's, a valid thing to try to do. I go, but when you get to that point where you're like, I'm gonna go nuts if I don't talk to another dad about this, or at least like if I don't have a place to just scream into the void, like you were saying, like, and I was like, just remember the dads, like, just remember dad's group. Like,
we're here,
that kind of deal. Like, and it's so funny. There's so many guys who are just like, yeah, sure, no problem, whatever. And then like months later, somebody will join in and you'll see where it says like, I met somebody who mentioned this, or my wife found the mom's group and they really, she really suggested that I try to find a dad's group or whatever. I'm like, yeah, because it takes a village. Like
it does.
It really does. And I'm not just talking about raising kids. I'm talking about living life. It takes a village.
and like we've said earlier, people that say, I don't need any help, I'm fine. You might be fine, but you still might need help. And you definitely need to be concerned about, are you getting the help you need?
I feel like it's Stewie from In Living Color. Let me do it. Let me do it. I got it. I do. Let me do it. And it's like, oh, Stewie, you're gonna get yourself in so much trouble, Stuart.
Yep. You need help.
Yeah. So. Oh man, that was a good talk. I love it when we get on a roll like this.
Kind of went all over the place, but yeah, it was good. Happy Halloween.
Hey, we're only weeks away from Thanksgiving, so that's coming around. That's a whole nother conversation to be had.
Right? Because there's so much. There is a lot to talk about for that.
Every
year.
Lots of prep work. Definitely. Definitely. Well, we'll get onto that later. We'll have that conversation because everybody always has questions about, cooking a turkey and what's better, the dark meat or the white meat, frying, baking.
Yep.
All that jazz. We'll get into that. Smoking.
Steak.
Oh, or steak. Yes.
We're doing steak. We're not doing turkey anymore.
Amen, brother.
We will if we go to somebody else's house. We'll have what they're having. But yeah, we're having steak this year. And I'm having people over and I tell them, because I'm trying to get some people in the neighborhood, I'm like, no, I want you to be aware. I want to invite you over for Thanksgiving.
I'm coming up to your house. I'm coming to your house.
Mashed potatoes, all that. We are not doing a turkey. We're not doing cranberries of any kind unless you have like some amazing cranberry dessert you want to bring with you. But yeah. So make your traditions.
I might be exactly. Make your traditions. My tradition might be to drive north to come be a part of your tradition on that fact. Because that sounds awesome. But regardless,
I'll host you, buddy.
I love that idea. Well, hey, regardless of that, it's always great talking with you, and it's always great being able to talk to all of our listeners. So we will be back next week with another conversation. Until then, y'all have a great week.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.